You know, I need to tell you guys something. I'm dumb. All right? And I don't learn very good. I don't learn good. You may be asking yourself, Zach, what are you doing today? Well, it's always something. We got this up on the lift here because the last time I drove it, which was last weekend, the whole car was shaking. So I wanted to look at some stuff. So I decided first I would look at what I touched first, which was these front brakes. Check the wheel bearings, and those were good. I checked over everything else up here, and everything looks fine. Other than this stupid AC line is leaking again. So that'll be good for weather in Tucson for the duct tape drags. But anywho, I kept tearing stuff apart, and I got the rear apart. See? Well, what I found, I didn't have to rip the rear end apart to find it, but what I found was when I put it neutral and I tried to spin either one of the wheels or the drive shaft, there was something was fucky. So the more I dug into it, I decided, well, I'm already here. I should do this disc brake conversion kit that I got, which is over there. We'll get into it in a minute. But I found this. It does the U-joint things that they're supposed to do, and this is the front one. And the front one, does this, but it doesn't move at all the other way. So this U-joint was all of the vibration. So I just decided, I got it in the air, I already tore stuff apart, let's just do the disc brake conversion. So that's why we have this open. And this axle seal was leaking, so that needs to be done. Anyways, here's the kit. So this is all from Rock Auto. I got new calipers. These are 100% American brand, New Gion. And I've got the rubber brake lines. Here's a caliper, it's an e-brake one. I got these custom brake lines. I honestly can't remember the company that I bought these from. They're online somewhere. If you want to keep a 4-lug bolt pattern and 15-inch wheels, these are Thunderbird calipers from the Turbo Coupes. And then this company sells you the e-brake cables if you want them, and then these brackets. So you're going to unbolt this whole assembly for the drum, bolt these brackets on, the calipers bolt here. This is where it bolts on to the axle. I haven't figured out what those 3 little guys do yet. And then the rotors are also Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. So you can just keep your factory Ford parts just from a different on an 86 Mustang, or any of the 4-lug ones. Really, you could do the same kit on. I didn't do 5-lug because I want to keep the factory Saleen wheels. Let's start tearing stuff apart. Ta-da!
That was anticlimactic.
We just took the whole assembly off with the e-brake lines and everything.
Oh, you already did the other side.
Yeah. So then there's the whole passenger stuff, driver side stuff. I just got to take these and I'll probably replace the seals because this one's leaking. And then put the disc brake stuff back on there.
You got that tool I bought, right?
Yeah.
To pop those out of there.
And then once I can get those, well, really, if I put those brackets on there, I could put the whole thing back together. I just need a new seal.
Okay, then I'll go get the seal.
Because this seal right here is leaking. This is all wet from it leaking.
Yeah. That looks...
But it really didn't look too bad. The little nuts on the brake lines came off of there, although the conversion kit says that you've got to either bend these or remake them. So I'm going to see what those look like once everything's in place. Alright, Dad's going to get seals. So I am looking at this bracket and the axle housing. So I have 2 questions. Let me get you mounted up so you can see. Alright. This bracket has this 4-bolt pattern here. So yeah, these ones are wider apart. Well, the wider apart ones are on the top, so clearly this goes either like this with the caliper forward, or it goes like this with the caliper rearward. Which way does it go? You know what I probably should do is I should probably look it up on their website. But I just don't remember even where I got these from. Because it does have a stamp on there. See, this says R, so I'm going to assume right side of the vehicle, which is the passenger side. I say we just fit it up there loosely, slide an axle in there, and see what it looks like. You know, what's the worst that'll happen is it's backwards, and then we gotta flip it to the right frontwards. That's the worst that'll happen, I think. Alright, that goes like that. The rotor needs to go on there, and then the caliper's got to bolt on. So let's see what this looks like. Rotor goes on. Oh, look, see, it's already hitting. So that's telling me, that this bracket needs to be flipped the other way. See? This is how you can just, look at me. This is how you can just figure things out. You just try it. And if you fail, then you fail, and you learn from your failures. And I failed every time I do something, and then I learn from it. Okay, let's do it the right way. Slide our axle shaft back in there again, skis. Go like that. Ish. Our rotor. Actually goes on there where it's supposed to go and sits flat, I think. Does it sit flat? It seems not right. Oh, it really doesn't seem right. How? Maybe it's because I don't have the C-clip in there, because I have this axle pushed in all the way, and where it actually might ride might be out here. So let me just temporarily put the C-clip in and pull it out where it would sit with the C-clip in the bar, because that clearly is not going to work like that. Here's an easy way to get the C-clip back in. See this little magnet? See how that axle shaft is right here, and see how far that's sticking in there? So if I just slide this out just enough so I could put the C-clip in there, that's like that. The C-clip's got to slide all the way on there, and then what's got to happen is you got to pull that all the way back. So then the pin will go in there like this, which we can actually slide it in there. So we're not going to orient it however it's supposed to go, because right now we don't care. But see how that shaft for the axle, let me rotate this. See how the axle shaft is right there? It's hitting this. So now the axle cannot go. See, that's as far as it'll go. So this is the actual like home position of this. So now we'll lower the car back down, put our rotor on there, and then see if our caliper will sit right and everything will saddle right. Our rotor should sit flat on this surface. We don't want it standing out because we want it to be discreet, you know, incognito. No, I mean, we don't want it standing out like proud of this. We want it to not be proud. We want it to be disappointed. I mean, we don't want it to, we want it flush, all right? We want it freaking flush. Okay, rotor. There we go. That's sitting on there. All right, let's get some lug nuts. All we're trying to do is simulate exactly where this would sit if it's got a wheel bolted to it. All right, the next step is to make sure it turns, and it does. So see, this is how much play a C-clip axle's got. That's got a little bit of play. That's why guys get rid of these with like high horsepower applications. We're at the factory 200 horse. We're good. Alright, let's get you back down here. Okay, so caliper needs a bolt on here, so let's take a look at that. So the caliper is going to go this way so that you've got all of the braking stuff that's on the inside of the car. This will not go towards the outside of the car. So let's see. Wow, this kind of sucks. It doesn't have any fat or anything in there. We're just trying to make sure that this is close to where this needs to be. It appears like it is. So what we can do is we can slide this off. So this bracket is what bolts in place, and then this caliper slides on here like this. So we could just separate this in two pieces, try and bolt this on. We send you some hardware with this kit. So really what I want to look at is I'm going to send these bolts down also, and I want to make sure that this bracket, the rotor is riding about in the middle of this bracket. Because remember, we've got this little bit of play, so we want to make sure it never drags. Look at that. It does not drag. Looks good. Okay. So that looks like that is the proper way that that goes. All right, something I learned on the driver's side. The passenger side, this bolts right on there and it bolts flush without interfering with anything. But on the passenger side, when you try and bolt this in place, you know, it won't sit down flush on there. See that gap that's in there? It won't sit down flush because this is sticking out a little bit further than that side. So I'm going to take this and sand it off a little. It's hitting right here. I'm just going to sand that down. I got that packed in there to protect that bearing. Probably should put the diff cover back on so I don't get metal everywhere. Alright, that was quick. I didn't have to take much material off at all, but see how it's sitting flush now? I just sanded that down just a skosh. I'm going to clean up the edges so they're not razor blade sharp and put this side together. Alright, this is a factory brake line, the hard line that went to the slave cylinder in the drum. And this is the new turbo coupe flex line for the caliper. So you have to have a flex line on a caliper because it floats. You can't hard line it. So look at this. That's not gonna work. So the kit that they send you this fitting, and look at this. Well, come on, it's straight. There you go, like a glove. So this needs to go on there. That either means reflaring that or just making a new line. I just dusted these with a little bit of black paint. Very runny, see? It's fine. I'll just put that there. Anyways, while I'm waiting for those to dry and I'm waiting for Dad to get back to the seals, I put in an e-brake cable. So these little football shaped guys, what that is that's just something for this cable to ride on. So when you pull the e-brake, the cable goes forward, it collapses the piston, or that collapses the caliper like this. So that's why this cable goes forward, so it rides through this guy. So what that looks like not in the car is this. So you can see this was the surface that was not being used. This was the surface that was, because see how you got a little bit of wear in there. So I only put one e-brake cable in there because on this side, what retains it, see this little groove? There needs to be like a E-clip in there. I don't have any of those. But how that works is over here. This is your caliper. So this goes like this. And see what's supposed to retain that is an E-clip right there. And then this pulls against there. So when you pull the e-brake, it collapses this, which extends that piston out, and that grabs onto the rotor. So Amazon's got everything. So I ordered a E-clip assortment kit. Should be here tomorrow. Hopefully it will be, because the following day is Labor Day. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm gonna wait to put this one in just in case I do have to run to the auto parts store. I could just bring it with me. I did measure it. It measures 4.16, which is pretty close to 21/64, I think. I don't know. I might be making that up, but I looked it up and I think that's what it said. But I might be joshing you. All right, you remember that pesky AC line that was leaking? Well, here's what it looks like when it's taken apart. So I already did reseal the lower line. I did not reseal the upper line. The way I know is because the O-rings I have are green and those are black. But this is what it looks like together. Right here. This is what it looks like apart. There's these two pieces right here. So those O-rings slide inside of this, and then what retains it is there's this flare on there, and the inside of the spinning is that spring on the outer circumference. So what you have to do is you need a tool like this, or here's another different set. These ones weren't quite the right size, so I got this one. And what you do is you find the right size that fits this, and you just push this in like that to expand that spring, and then pull this line out. The more aggressive you are with it, ironically, the harder it is to take it apart. Holy cow, what light do I got going? Anyways, so I'm gonna pick those out of there, put new O-rings in there, and put it back together. Do another vacuum test. Hopefully it's good to go. Alright, to give myself the best chance of success, I'm going to clean the crap out of this. Literally, there's crap in here. So just the wire brush, cleaning the grooves out that the O-rings go into, so that hopefully, when we put new O-rings in there, they actually seal. Alright, the E-clip kit came in from Amazon. And it is a standard size kit. We needed a metric. About that. Just because of the dimensions and everything on this. So what you do is you get a 1/2 inch one and you smush it a little bit and then it fits. It's not perfect, don't care. Anyways, got the driver's side one in there. So see the brake line. Oh, it's dark in there. Hold on. I'll do horses here. Okay, let's try this again. So see the brake line there, it goes through this little pivot, comes over here, factory clamp, and it goes underneath the axle right into the caliper. See? And then there's that E-clip in there against the body of the caliper. So this side is complete as far as the e-brake goes. I got the flex line on there. I got to put the little brass washers on there, and then I got to run the hard lines. And I still need to put the C-clips in there. And anywho, that's what we're doing. Alright, so now I'm working on the hard lines, going from the center flex line, factory hard line for the passenger side with the factory hanger for the breather. And what I did is I bolted it together up here, and I put this breather in there that kind of locates this, and I kind of bent this where it needed to go and cut it off and reflared it. I used this Summit brand flaring tool. It's a pretty nice kit. It's this guy. Oh, okay, it doesn't have a sticker on it, but it's this guy right here. That's the, I don't know if that's Spanish or what that is, but pretty decent kit. So now I'm going to work on the passenger side. Maybe I'll record me flaring the passenger side. Something like that, so it stays away from everything. Now we got to try and bend it over to whereabouts this is going to go. And we want it to look like that's the way that it was supposed to be. And let me tell you about how I'm not a professional on doing brake lines. Holy crap. So remember, the flare goes into this fitting a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it a little long, and then once we get it fit in there, then we can kind of straighten it out. Okay, so we marked it right there. So let's get our little cutter guy. So these are our two tails that used to go to the slave cylinders and the drums. We'll probably keep these fittings because we could reuse them for something. So in order to go into this tool, the line's got to be pretty straight. So then what I'm doing is I'm just taking some needle nose, and this is a steel line, so it's kind of hard to straighten it. But I'm trying to straighten it the best that I can, and then once you crimp it down in this block, it'll kind of self-correct itself. Alright, the way that this works is you put these blocks on there, slide them all the way back, and you want the end of the tube to be flush with the end of this block. So you got to kind of hold this, put it on the right operation, which is 0, cycle this all the way in like that, and then what I do, just for safety's sake, is as I'm holding that, push this in place, tighten this down, kind of takes care of all of it. So now that tube is flush with this for op 1. And we're doing 3/16 line, so you do, or now the tube is flush with this for op 0. Then you go to op 1, you pull this until it stops. That does your bubble flare, and then you go to op 2, and this does your final flare. And then you take it out, take a look at it, see if you did good or not. Like I said, I'm not a professional, so don't hold me responsible here. So that flare's a little screwed up, but then also the other thing I forgot, which I do this a lot. I didn't put the fitting on there. So we gotta cut that off and start over. Dang it! So then there's our flare. So what I do is I clean it up a little bit. A little bit of emery cloth. I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but I do. I grab the nastiest, this is an emery cloth, this is Scotch-Brite, but I grab the nastiest, dirtiest one of these that I've got. Just clean a little bit of crap off of there. Spray it with some carb cleaner on both sides, so where the nut's going to push up against it and in the flare. Make sure it feels alright, and then spray this out. Hey, try and bend this so that it looks like it's supposed to be there. Not that anybody's ever going to notice. Make sure it doesn't hit anything. And voila! Bob's your uncle. Alright, the next part of this from Fox Body Brakes is to remove the proportioning valve. So remember, we're going from discs in the front, drums in the rear, to discs all the way around. So what you got to do, you got to take this guy off of there. I'm using this crescent wrench to hold it in place so I don't bend the lines. To break that free, you take the whole proportion which is in this picture, and you put this plug in there. So I'm going to do that real quick. I can't really mount the camera in a good spot. It keeps falling over, so you're going to see it when it's apart and then when it's back together. So mine has a brake light switch that's right here. Right there. This one does not. And then this is what my assembly looks like. So it's got this guy, which is the same as that. The spring. It's got that little retainer washer guy, which is stuck in here. Right there. And then this. But see how that little plunger thingy is gone? That's interesting, huh? Anywho. So that must still be wedged in like that. It'll be fine. Alright, here's why the U-joint didn't feel good. That's not supposed to be in there. Those are supposed to be these. These little needle bearings. So that's not good. So we're putting U-joints in. I was too impatient waiting for Bill to open up tomorrow, so I'm doing it today. Alright, you can't barely see me because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Let me turn the light on here. It is 4 o'clock in the morning, the Tuesday after Labor Day, and I am going to drive the Saleen to work this morning as its test drive. So 42 miles, super early in the morning. Nobody can rescue me if anything goes wrong. Should be fine. I'm going to bring no extra tools with me. Actually, I take that back. I have the center console tore apart because I've got some boots to replace in there. So I've got the random tools to do that. Should be good. I did put it around the block once and slam on the brakes, and the brakes work. So that's good. But anywho, let's go to work. Yo, what are we doing today? Well, we're in the shop. It's been a while. Had an overhaul. Worked like 12 days in a row. Disgusting. Really good paycheck though. Anywho, since we did the disc brakes, there's a noise in the back. You know when a semi hits the brakes and goes wah, 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 until it stops? Yeah, that's what this does, so that's cool. So I got it up on the lift. See? Just walked underneath it. And I'm looking at the rotors. Hold on, let's get a flashlight. As you guys can't see as good as I can see. Well, now you can. Alright, so then I was looking at the rotors and I was like, oh, is there any weird spots where there's rubbing? No. Look, at least on the back side, you still see the crisscross applesauce in there. See the crisscross? Okay. On the driver's side. Maybe it was the driver's side making the woo woo woo. See? See? No, you don't see anything because it looks freaking fine. When you spin it by hand, no noises. So what's going on? I don't know. I did order a different manufacturer of pads than I usually use. I usually use Power Stop. The reason why I usually use Power Stop is because once upon a time I did brakes, and no matter what I did, they made noise. So then I found these, put them on, solved my problems. So what do I do when I do disc brakes for this car? I don't buy Power Stop because, you know, I need to tell you guys something. I'm dumb, all right? And I don't learn very good. I don't learn good. So why not do pads, you know, 2 or 3 or 10 times? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the different pads on there. Okay? That's what we're going to start with. We're going to put different pads on there to fix our whoop, whoop, whoop noise. It doesn't sound exactly like that, but that's the best I could do. And then next we've got, there's the pads, see? This we're not installing. We've got a shift boot, because the shift boot is tore, and we had to take apart the center console where the e-brake cable is to loosen everything up, to get the e-brake cables off. We're going to do a speedo cable, because that's made noise since the day I got it. I've just ignored it. Brandy actually says that the noise is kind of relaxing, which makes me worry about her. Anyways, and then the other thing we're doing is we're doing this. RMS Lighting makes a pretty sick kit for this car. I'm not going to tell you right this second what this kit is. RMS Lighting. You could probably figure it out. It's something for a light or something, right? But we're going to go through that. We got to get this going. We're leaving on Wednesday. Today is Saturday. And I have other obligations for half of the day today, all of the day tomorrow, and then I have to work on Monday and Tuesday. So how am I going to get all this done? I don't know. But I'm gonna try. All right, we got the brake pads replaced. I didn't record it because I was angry. We got the speedo cable replaced. I didn't record that because I was also angry. The speedo cable, however, doesn't really want to clip into the back of the speedometer very well. So hopefully it's okay. Anywho, we moved on to lights. And this is what high beams look like with them both on. And then this is what the new RMS light looks like. That's that. And then the amber one is the old one. And that's with high beams on. Look at that difference. That one RMS one puts out more light than the other three combined. It's pretty. All right, are you ready? Okay. There it is. We had to turn these lights off. Holy smokes, it's dark. Don't worry, I have this. So see how right now, without the headlights on, there's not any light? I know. Strange. Let's turn the head. You died, but don't worry, I brought you back to life. Anywho, we turn the headlights on and look it. There's the low beams. I did aim them down quite a bit. I did the trick where you're supposed to, like, you know, put some tape on the wall and whatnot, and who's your daddy and all those things. I just adjusted it till it looked like it was okay, and I'm gonna throw a screwdriver in the car and just adjust it until I feel like it's okay. All right, so there's low beams. I did put LED marker things in the bottom, and now when you turn the flashers on, or the blinker on to turn, it doesn't work, it just stays on. So I got a flasher relay coming, but those are the low beams. And the high beams. Where's the handle? There we go. Look at that. See how it's higher? High beams. That's why it's called high beams, because it goes up higher. Look at that. It is freaking bright, guys. You could tell in the camera more so than I can that the center ones are higher than the outside ones. And I noticed this marker light is marking. This marker light is not marking. So I got some LED ones of those coming. I checked everything back here. These, I got to take the whole back of the car apart. Not going to do it until one of those burns out. But look it. If you turn the blinker on right now, see how it just makes that light bright? Oh, it didn't even do anything. Hold on. I think we got to have the ignition on for that. Anyways, we're not going to turn the ignition on for that. Let's turn these off. Where's the... There we go. Oh boy, it's dark in here. I mean, there is some lights. See? There's some stuff going on. Anywho, let's go turn this back on. Ta-da! We got lights again. Looks pretty good. It doesn't look out of place, because these just look like they're supposed to be there. They're just nice and clean. Here's our one bulb. I think this was the one that was good, but we're going to throw it away. The other one, the base rotated in the glass, so it ripped a little, you know, wiry doodads. Okay, that's it for this. That's it, and that's it. And I think I'm going to clean the window. The bulbs are going to show up tomorrow, and then we're good. But that's it for this video. RMS lighting. The things are bright. We'll see what they do when I actually get to drive it. But right now, it's like... What time is it? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of sun out there. Headlights don't do you any good.